Hello, everybody, and welcome to Whisky Daddy Review number 17. And finally, as promised, I'm going to be bringing you today the new Buffalo Trace Experimental Collection. So let's talk about this bottle a little bit. I'm basically just going to read to you what is on the bottle, and it gives you a ton of information, so I figured this is the best place to start. All right. Total production of this whiskey was only 4 barrels. The date distilled was 10/13/2009. The date barreled was 10/14/2009, so the very next day. The recipe is the Buffalo Trace Rye Bourbon Mash Bill number 1. The mash type was sour. The still proof was 140. The entry proof was 125, so that's the proof in which they put it into the barrel at. Warehouse I, floor 5, Rick 1, row 5, slots 5 through 8. So that's where these 4 barrels sat. Now, what they did with these barrels was they gave them a 30-minute infrared light wave. So basically it's 30 minutes of short and medium length infrared light highlights rich flavors in the oak, producing this bourbon with strong wood notes, complemented by a taste of a dry fruit. A lingering finish leaves a hint of cracked black pepper. So I guess they treated this barrel with light waves. It says here at 60% power. And then that was followed by number 1 char. Now, whenever they're preparing barrels, you go from a char of 1 to a char of 4. Like Wild Turkey is done with like a char of 4. And I think Buffalo Trace is normally done with a char of either 3.5 or 4, I think. But this particular one is a char number 1. So it's treated with this infrared light and then given this really light char. Now, that's going to give it a different character. The heavier the char, the more of the caramel you bring out in the whiskey. The lighter the char, or if the barrel is toasted, you get more of a vanilla characteristic, or what I like to call a lighter or whiter feel to the whiskey versus a darker, more brown feel to the whiskey, if that makes sense. All right. It was white oak. Independent stave company made the barrel. The staves were a 6-month air dried, so it's not very long. Typically speaking, I think the best length dry barrel staves would be a little bit longer than that. Of course, they could have air dried these staves after they were produced, and maybe the timber had sat around dry for 2 years. Who knows? Age at bottling was 6 years and 5 months. Evaporation from the barrel was 32%. This is release number 22 of 2. Filtration was chill filtered and bottled at 45%. Sure would have liked to seen that done a little bit higher, but they're falling in line with what Buffalo Trace is normally bottled at, which is 45% or 90 proof. So let's see what we get. Had it sitting out, of course, trusty top. That's just to blow some of the lighter alcohol vapors off the top. To me, the aroma is definitely it's more similar to the E.H. Taylor small batch than it is to the regular Buffalo Trace, which is another Buffalo Trace product. I'm definitely getting the dried fruits. I'm getting some banana in there. I'm getting a little bit of honey in there. Definitely some vanilla. Some low tannic oakiness. Golden raisins. And after you let this sit in the glass for a while, you start to get this beautiful pecan or walnut note. It's very nutty whiskey. The alcohol is a little strong on the nose. It's nice to let this whiskey settle down for about 10 minutes before even trying anything. All right, on the palate. It arrives very, very soft. Very soft. Oak, a little bit of cocoa, a light brown sugar. It's a very gentle spirit. And then in the development, you get more of the oakiness. It intensifies. I'm reading from my notes here. Raisins start to come out. The nuttiness arises. You always get that part of it. Remnants of roasted walnuts. And to me, it tastes a little bit like Christmas Eve because we used to do roasted walnuts. It tastes a little bit like that. The finish, walnuts, pecans, oak, vanilla, all of that under a nice toasty little blanket, and it's not tannic at all. Now I'm starting to get some of that pecan note. The other thing about a whiskey too is when you start nosing it, after the second or third nosing of it, you generally pick up on a bit more. Absolutely beautiful whiskey. Medium viscosity. I would love to have seen this non-chill filtered and bottled at a higher strength, but with the limited availability of it, that's pretty much all we could get. This 375 ml bottle cost me about $60, but they only made 4 barrels of this stuff. My entire state got a total of 60 bottles. So I was very lucky to get this. Thanks to Jordan down at Total Wine and More in Columbia, South Carolina. Really appreciate all your help, buddy. Just a different oakiness, a different feel than a normal Buffalo Trace product. It doesn't even taste the same. It doesn't have that sharp wryness to it. It's more mellow, more vanilla. I'll show you guys something I do here. I talked about the gas. This is the gas I use. Wine Enthusiast Private Preserve. You just take it, get your bottle top, get your cork ready, squeeze it in there, pop the top on. That's all you do. And now this whiskey will sit in there with a nice gas blanket right over top of it, a heavier gas blanket than oxygen, and that way it does not oxidize. I want to say it's nitrogen or something along those lines. Anyway, I'm running out of time on my little camera here. Next time, Jack Daniel's single barrel, barrel proof. We're going to be talking about it. As always, guys, I appreciate it. From everybody here at Whisky Daddy, being me only, cheers. We'll see you later. Beautiful. There's like a leather polish coming up in there now. I love it.